Take it away.
Yeah, take it away. Hey, everybody. Hello and welcome. My name is Pat Mishu, and I am sort of leading into the host of the call for tonight. And welcome to the great opportunity to hear from an absolute pro about designing your ideal life. And I know from personal experience with John that this is going to be a very meaningful, less than half hour with you. But I know a lot about John, but many of you, some of you don't. Brian, it's good to see you here. I haven't seen you forever. It's great that you could join us. So let me give a proper introduction to our guest speaker tonight. John Ribeiro is a performance coach and professional speaker. And he's the co-host of the infamous, that's my term, Say Yes podcast, and the co-author of 2 international books, Zero to Hired, Successfully Breaking Your Interview Process, and Canadian Job Search Guide for Professionals. I think that's right up Brian's alley, as a matter of fact. John has over 20 years experience leading high-performing teams and coaching high-performing individuals in the corporate and startup space. He has coached thousands of professionals on leadership, career development, and personal performance in over 24 countries. John is the founder of Zero to Hired Coaching and Consulting. It's an organization committed to giving back, and I know John's got such a huge heart, and I'm confident that this organization is touching many lives for sure. He's committed to giving back to the global community and helping individuals break through the negative self-talk so they can live empowered and purposeful lives. John's a social media influencer. If you have not seen his daily videos, honest to goodness, track him down. They are special. Let me just say that. They are special. He shares tips and strategies for navigating through the noise of life and finding the parts of you that lights you up and provides you with an endless source of energy. John's mantra is the more you experience, the more you have to offer others. You can connect with him on LinkedIn, John Ribeiro, and on Instagram as well, and on Facebook. I mean, the man's all over the place because he is a social media influencer. And tonight he's going to share a bit of his story with the Isagenix experience. I connected with John a number of years ago. He attended one of my Toronto events for entrepreneurs. That's where we first met. And then when I got introduced to Isagenix for my health and wellness journey, and it had such an impact on my life, I wanted to share with others. And John was one of the ones that I absolutely wanted to bring into the community. And so John will share about that. So buckle up, stay tuned, get your notebook out, and get ready for a really great experience. It's all over to you, John.
All right. Thank you, Pat. Wow. What an introduction. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you today, right? Like, when I think about this particular journey and how I got here, and who knew, right? I think we met, it was 2015 or 2016, when we met for the first time. I still have our pictures, right? And, if you saw our pictures back then, we actually look, when people look back and they say, oh man, I used to look like that. I'm like, I used to look like that, and that's not a good thing. So I'm so honored and blessed to have you here and do the introduction for me today. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm going to keep this quick. 20 minutes should be more than enough to talk about what I need to cover tonight. But it's really around my personal journey with Isagenix and really how it's helped me. Like Pat said, we met early in 2016. We reconnected back in 2021. I was on, at the end of the pandemic, I just wasn't feeling good. And I felt like I was just falling apart. I don't know if you've ever felt like that, but I felt like I needed to do something different. Yeah, no, I absolutely felt like that. And, so I started this challenge. I was going to walk for 31 minutes for 31 days, right? That was it. This January 2021. I'm going to walk for 21 minutes, for 31 minutes for 31 days. And in the process of doing that, I came up with this crazy idea. I was going to go do something called a try. It's like a mini triathlon where you swim, you bike, and you run. And you got to remember, I'm coming off, 2.5 years of not doing any sort of activity. It was really around sitting on the couch, being a couch potato, just like, a lot of people did during the pandemic. The first couple of months, everybody's excited, everybody's working out in their house, and then, it's 2.5 years later and nobody's exercising anymore and people are just on their couch. So that led me to Pat in March of that year. You know, and one of the things I saw with her is she was posting these videos. She's doing weight training, she's doing yoga, she's doing strength. I'm like, man, what? Like, I'm struggling to go like walk, right? I'm walking now 45 minutes, you know, every other day. And I'm like, I'm struggling. What's Pat doing? So I reconnected with her. And that's what I got introduced to Isogenics. It was in, you know, I'm going on almost 2 years now of being with Isogenics because of Pat, because I wanted something different. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to feel more energy in my life. I don't know if you feel like that. And, you know, from that journey, it just kind of led me down this path to where I am today. You know, so now 2.5 years later, I've completed this year my first half Ironman, my Ironman 70.3. And it's all because of the stuff I've been putting in my body. You know, and in the process, what I also learned is, you know, on the other side of all the health benefits behind isogenics, there's also this business side, which, you know, if anything, for me, it was just a way of covering and paying for my goods, which is really what I was trying to do. So I'm just going to share something with you up on my screen so you can take a look and you can see what I'm saying. Can it just give me a thumbs up or give me a one in the chat, letting me know that you can see the chat. I'm all choked up. I get so excited when I talk about this stuff. I get all choked up. Okay, good. Everybody can see the chat. Thank you. So here we go. So what I learned, you know, with isogenics, there's a whole business behind isogenics that I didn't even know about. And, you know, what wasn't covered in my introduction is, you know, I've been a serial entrepreneur. Over the years, I've tried various types of business. I've always had that entrepreneurial business, even though I was working full time. You know, I worked full time inside of an organization for 22 years. But there was always that part of me, you know, growing up in an entrepreneurial home, you know, that entrepreneurial spirit was always in me. So I always had a side hustle. I always had a side business, whether it was photography, whether it was IT work, like you name it. Like, you name the profession, I've probably done it. And, you know, the one thing I loved about Isogenics when I got first introduced to it is I could easily set this up as a business if I really wanted to. You know, the truth is I just wanted to use the products and be a product user. But what I found was there's this amazing company side to it. And one of the things that you get when you sign up as a business, when you set up your business inside of Isogenics, is you get to set up your own virtual store. Listen, I had a coaching business where I did career coaching with people. And one of the most difficult things that I faced in that business was having a website, creating blogs, creating social media content, and really getting it out there on a regular basis. I struggled with all those things and I didn't know any of those things. I had to figure it out as I was going along. And what I realized with Isogenics is they give you a store. When you sign up to be a business owner or an associate inside of Isogenics, they give you a storefront, no website, no hosting, no nothing. They just give you a URL with your name at the end of it. You don't need any employees. You know, if you are in the health and beauty service industry, you don't have to carry any inventory. And the investment, they say it's minimal, but I believe it's zero because you're just replacing existing food with the food that you're going to be consuming through Isogenics. And the beautiful part is they give you the training, you get special events where they get to show you how to grow and build your business. They give you marketing content and they even give you social media content that you can repost. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like, how simple is that? You know, like I said, as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, I'm like, you know, I want a business that's not going to take me a lot of time to set up, that I can just get off the floor running today. And you know what I realized about this particular business, you know, there's various industries that it hits, right? Whether it's wellness, it's beauty, it's biohacking. If you're not familiar with biohacking, think about cold plunges. You know, if you've there's a big craze out there about cold plunges. That's what biohacking. And you know, today biohacking is $4.6 billion industry, and in 10 years from now, it's going to be a $7.5 billion industry. You know, I don't know if you're familiar, or I don't know if you're like me, but you might have a cabinet full of vitamins that you don't take. That's what I had, you know, when I was talking to Pat for the first time. She's like, do you take vitamins? And I'm like, yeah, I do sometimes. It's in my cabinet, which, you know, for the most part, you know, a year or two, I would end up throwing them out because I just wouldn't use them because I wasn't getting any sort of good results. But we all do that. And the vitamin industry is $57.6 billion today. You can't walk into a Costco, you can't walk into a Shoppers without vitamins just being in your face. You know, in 10 years from now, it's going to grow, right? It's going to grow. All these things are growing. And the other thing I realized is Retirement's not that far away from me, believe it or not, right? Yeah, how? Like, yes, it's not that far away from me. And what I realized too is, because I'm going to be living longer, I need to start putting more aside than I thought I would need initially. And today, there's a lot of people that are struggling just to get by. And we see it all the time, like people who are people with mortgages, people who have kids, like the investments that we're saving today is just isn't enough. They say on average, you need 15%. 10 years from now, you're going to need 40% of your savings to retire well. And what you can get through the Isogenics business is all of this. And the beautiful part, Isogenics isn't just isolated to just Canada. It's not just isolated to the US as well. Isogenics has been in business for over 20 years. 2002 is when they first started, and they've sold billions of products, and they've paid out billions in income. Listen, the one thing I love about this Isogenics business, every Monday I get a paycheck. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to show up. And I'll talk about that in a second, how that shows up for you. It's a privately owned company. It's profitable, and it's backed by industry investors. There's 425 legacy members. What that means is legacy members who have made over $1 million in the business. And when I heard that, I'm like, really? Is that even possible? There's $1 billion, there's $1 million earner on this call right now. I'm not going to say who it is, but you can earn over $1 million in this business. And that to me was just like, how? Show me how. And so this is where I started digging in a little bit more. And like I said, they operate in 25 different countries. And the beauty, I was just in Portugal and people were starting to talk about it. People were starting to look at Isogenics. It's like, I didn't realize even Portugal would have that. So, so when you talk about the company, that's where they're at. And they're constantly growing and expanding into new markets as well. So the way I look at Isogenics is you've got all these aisles in a grocery store, right? So I came in to Isogenics just wanting to shed a few pounds. Initially, when I started with Pat, I told her I just wanted to lose 10 pounds. And she's like, okay, great. We're going to put you on a 30-day reset system that's going to get you there. All you got to do is work the system works. And I love that. I'm like, the simplicity of it. The beauty is when I make breakfast in the morning, it takes me 3 minutes. And I'm not waiting in line at a Tim Hortons to pick up stuff that's not going to fuel me in the right way. I'm putting 24 grams of protein, vitamins, multivitamins, and it's not stuff that's sitting in my cabinets anymore. It's stuff that's going in my body. So you got nutrition and weight management, you got natural beauty. There's a variety of different products in there. Energy and focus. Listen, if I ever need a little bit of a boost, I take my adaptogens and I take my nootropics that helps me with that. There's stress and sleep. I don't know about you, but for a while there, especially during the pandemic, because I wasn't at my best, I wasn't sleeping at my best either. And what I ended up finding is I just wasn't doing well. And when I started to change things inside my body, inside my system, things started to get better for me. And today, actually, I sleep really well. And if you ask my wife, she's like, he sleeps too well because you can put him in a corner somewhere, he'll close his eyes and he's just out. And it makes her upset sometimes. She's like, how do you do it? It's so easy for you. The other part is, the one thing I love about this, and this is coming from a certified colon hydrotherapist. Like I said, there's many professions that I've jumped into, a certified colon hydrotherapist. If you're not familiar with that, I'm going to invite you to go check it out. But essentially, it's washing your gut from the inside. And there's a process to that. And what I learned as a certified colon hydrotherapist was a lot of people have unhealthy guts. The expression I share with people is, a healthy gut is a wealthy body, right? Like when you take care of your gut, your insides, and for the most part, and this is a quick little fact you might not know, your lower intestine is between 5 and 6 feet long. And in your intestine, you can hold up to 5 pounds of waste per foot. When they talk about having an extra 20, 30 pounds of waste in your body, that's what they're talking about. And when I was serving clients as a colon hydrotherapist, what I realized, a lot of people were suffering from constipation. I know it's not something pretty, but something that we got to talk about because people, when you're carrying toxins inside your body, you're not flushing them out and they're making you sick. And when you get those toxins out, and what I love about the 30-day system that we use is you actually do a detox. And I just did a detox this week on Sunday. And can I tell you, I'm already starting to feel better. Especially when you go, we talk about the winter blues and you need a pep of energy. A cleanse is the right thing to do it because it helps reestablish your gut. And then there's a whole line of fitness fitness products that Isagenix has as well. And what I love about their fitness products, they help me get to the finish line of an Ironman. I know it may not seem like a lot, but if you're not familiar with an Ironman, it's a 2 kilometer swim, it's a 90K bike ride, and a 21.1 kilometer run. Yes, a half marathon. And what was interesting as I was on the course doing this half Ironman, I would see people taking salt pellets, right? Like the salt pellets and protein bars and all these sugary snacks. And I had my Isagenix products with me. I had my bars, I had my Isagenix electrolytes. I didn't need salt pellets. I had tasty stuff that took me through to the end of the event, which lasted 8 hours and 27 minutes. Let me say that again, 8 hours and 27 minutes. I was eating every 30 minutes, snacking on my bars, fueling my body the way I needed to be fueled to get to the finish line. And I'll be completely honest with you, I actually got to work with Boris, who's also an Isagenix member, who shared with me, if you're going to prepare for something like that, this is what you need to do. And this is what I love about this community. People are in there to help you and support you get to the finish. And there's no other community like this one, right? Like it's amazing how people just come together. There's experts from different facets of different parts of life that'll be there to support you. And this is what I love. And their fitness products, their proteins, their electrolytes, their pre-workout stuff, it got me to the end. And I'm incredibly grateful that they were there for me. So you think about it, these are all the different aisles that you get on your website that you don't have to build, that somebody else is building for you, that you can share with others. And really, this is what this program is built on. This program is built on I share, you share. And that's how you grow and build the leverage of community. You build, this is how you start to build that money. When I talked about, when I thought about this particular business, I just wanted to pay for my products at the end of the day. And when you pay for your products, it really just means using food that you're replacing your bad food with. This is why I don't think there's much of an investment. There's a little bit of investment because you have to put that stuff into your body. But to me, you're just replacing with the food that you would normally eat. The only difference is you're putting good stuff in your body, right? So you get to build that power and build and leverage community. So I share, you share, and that's how you continue to grow. We talk about a 900 BV cycle, which is worth $54. What that means is if somebody consumes 600 BVs of products on one side and 300 BVs on another side, you cycle. And that's just one of the ways that you can start to earn money in this business. And it's really super simple because I share, you share. And I started sharing this with my family, my friends, and that's how I've been building it, over the last almost coming up on 2 years in March of 2024. And you start off as an associate, and what an associate is, you just register for a business account, and that makes you an associate. To get to consultant status, I share with 2 people and they share with 2 people. That brings you into consultant status, and that's where you start to generate that revenue. There's a variety of other roles here: manager, director, executive. But essentially what you're doing as a consultant, you're growing, people are sharing, you're building consultants, you're building managers, you're building directors, and that's what gets you to an executive cycle. And if you want to learn more, there's a little QR code here that really takes you into detail, or go back to the person that invited you to this call so you can learn and pick up from them exactly what this system looks like, because I only got 20 minutes and there isn't a lot of time to cover all the specifics here. But it's, when I think about it this way, I just started sharing with friends and family. My kids today are, they see me doing these shakes, they're on the shakes. My wife's on the shakes. I even have some family members doing the shakes with me. And all I can tell you is it's changed how they feel in their body. Like, it just feels really great. And getting started is easy, right? So there's, like the way I started when I first got into the business, I just came in as a customer, right? I just wanted to use a product. I wanted to lose 10 pounds and I wanted to do my first try. But here's what happened. And, I've been saving this because I think this is incredibly important. Not only did I lose 10 pounds, but I lost another 20 pounds on top of that, like just in a matter of 3 months. So I ended up losing 30 pounds in total. And the other thing that, it's not just about weight, right? Like, I started to lose inches around my waist. And what I love about Isagenix is at the beginning of the program, they make you take a before photo and an after photo. I don't know about you, but, I didn't really think about that as I was going through all these different health programs. taking that before photo, and actually, if you go online, you'll see it. You'll see my before photo and my after photo. And not only will you see the weight drop, you'll see the inches drop too. And the best part is, outside of the weight piece, my cholesterol actually went down in almost a decade. And what I mean went down, my good cholesterol went up, my bad cholesterol went down, and my doctor took me off my cholesterol medication because of it. And I'm not here to offer medical advice. This isn't always true for everybody, but I just wanted to share my experience in terms of what was happening for me. And that for me was a game changer, because what I was trying to shift away from was taking the pharmaceuticals and get back to stuff that was just natural. And I was able to do that with something called the Heart Booster, which is also in your store as one of the aisles in your Isogenic store. The other part to get involved with the business is to become an associate. And really, that's just signing up for a business account. And what's beautiful about what Isogenics is doing right now is they are waiving the associate fee. So up until the end of the year, you can become an associate at no cost. But even with that, it's a very small cost in terms of investment. And that will help you start cycling. And as you start to cycle, you start to see that money come in and you'll start to pay for your products. So that kind of brings me to the end of this. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking your time with us on a Wednesday evening. If you want to learn more about Isogenics, there's a QR code in I believe it's in the right on the right side of the screen. You can scan it, it'll share some more information with you, or just go back to the person that invited you to this call today, and they'll share a little bit more about the program, how it all works, and how you can get involved and get started today. All right, so with that, I am going to wrap up today's session. Thank you, everybody, for joining and for being here with me and with all of us. I think that's a wrap, right, everybody? We're good? Thumbs up if
John,
everybody's good.
can you stop
Yeah.
the screen share so we can grab a picture of everybody?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, would love that, Carolyn.
Okay,
All
awesome.
right.
Thank you. Outstanding. I really loved your presentation.
Thank you, Carolyn.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
big
is a wrap.
smiles, big smiles.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Have a good night.
Take care, everybody.